Um, Little change of venue today. Overcast, dark, and all that. And with the change in venue, I want to change my usual subject, which is force or run blocking or whatever, and talk about pass pro, and specifically talk about the center in pass pro, and not necessarily all pass pro, but versus a yellow light two gap nose. Okay, it looks like two gap nose. I'm not sure. I know we're getting a lot of four eye stuff, odd spacing, but the problems that the center faces are magnified a lot in pass protection. Okay, especially versus five down, where you want five guys to take five guys. But let's just talk about this guy. Whatever style of nose he is, if it's a big 340 pounder or somebody that they bring in as a pass rush specialist. And me, I think, you take a guy like, Joey Boza or somebody like that and stick him in the two gap nose, you got problems. Most of the time in four-man spacing or even three-man spacing, um, the center is okay because he's going to get help from the guards. But when you get a five man, what we call five down, okay, the hand signal from the center, five down. Generally speaking, the center's on an island. Now, going back to Coach McNally years ago, he taught us the short set. And the short set, the way I learned it through his clinics or talking with him, he talked about a guard, and I'm going to talk about being a right guard here for a second. Okay, and what he'd want to do is take away the inside and open the leg with the outside and do that. Okay, and to tell you the truth, a yellow light, you're probably going to do that. You got a guy in front of you already. And what you're trying to do with this first step is take away the inside, and the second step, open the leg. But notice that I've put him essentially between my feet, and he's really not shaded. Now he's got something to do. I want to get my hand on him as quickly as possible. Okay. And to me, I don't say to I say I want one hand, not two, because two tends to lunge. I want to go one, two, have a long hand and a strong hand. And I don't, when on short set, I'm not telling these guys which hand to use. It's whatever hand they want. Okay. A strong inside hand, or excuse me, a strong outside hand and a long inside hand. That's okay. The rusher's getting shut off by the leg, and he's being invited to the open leg, which is to our advantage. So to me, this is fine and throw him out. This is also fine, but then you probably have to switch hands. I don't get into it too much. Now, going to a center, okay, uh, there was a guy we had at Elon named John Rubitone, okay, and I don't think he got this from Coach McNally, but he might have got it from Rich Skrosky, who was our coordinator and who's at Duke right now. He's a hell of a offensive line coach as well as a hell of a quarterback coach. He's just a hell of a coach. But John was a guard, very smart guy, and he said to me that the center against a two gap should set like a right guard. Now, I think that was assuming he was a backup center also, but he was a pretty good player at guard. I was assuming that you have a snap hand, the right hand. Okay, and the thing about a center, and almost everything we talk about, we try to apply it to the center. What's the center got to do? Because remember, the center's got his hand between his legs momentarily. Okay, and a good center is going to get that ball out. A shotgun snap, he's going to get that ball out of his hand pretty quick. But on the quarterback under center, he's got to really dig it in there. He's essentially a one-handed pistola. Okay, something that again we stole from McNally years ago. He used to say, called it a one-hand. I don't know what he called it, but he has said so many things. Um, but anyway, the center against yellow light, two gap nose, generally speaking, if he's got possible help, he's going to set away from his help. Okay, so if he's got help here, he's going to set this way. He's going to open the leg away from his help. Okay, but the way he's going to do it, short set. Okay, if we've determined that this is his guy, and he's going to set it, and he's going to get help. He's not going to half set it and then try and get back to it. He's got this guy. Okay. If he's going to open the right leg, okay, we want him to short set the opposite leg, put it between our feet, and remember he's like this. So he's only got the fast, long hand, but the guy's right in front of him. It's not as though he's setting to a man, which is, I think, as tough as anything. He's setting to a man this way, and he's got to put that hand down. Okay. The thing that we say to them, and we got this from Dante Scarnecchia, who came to visit us at Penn State one time. Centers and guards set wider. So again, it's easy for him to get in front of this guy because the step is essentially a brace step. He's stepping backwards. And in this case, he's not putting his weight forward. There's no teeter. He's got to do everything he can to brace and condense, okay, or coil. So this isn't as big of a problem, okay, for him because he's going to get width and he's generally got somebody standing here helping him this way, okay? So to me, the big problem is this, okay? And let's say he's got a guard on either side of him covered, it's 5 down, and he's got this guy. All right, what we talk about is, again, setting. This is from John Rubitone. Well, I never failed to steal a good idea. This guy was a player, and he was coaching me, and I had to say, well, he's right. Okay, snap the ball and short set with what would be the right guard's inside foot, and open the leg with this foot, which would be, if you're a right guard, the outside leg, and get that hand on. Now, you'd say, well, coach, that doesn't make sense. If this is my inside hand, I'm playing long with this and strong with this. Well, yeah, it does make sense because the guy's right in front of you. Okay, you got no choice. This is where you're at right here. Okay, so to me, no big deal. Now, if I was a center with a left-handed snap, and I can't recall anybody I've coached, I'd do the dead opposite. Okay, I would do the dead opposite, and by short setting, okay, I'm going to shut this off a little bit with this hand and invite him to this hand. Remember, we want to define yellow light. We don't want this guy to have a two-way go. We'd like to shut off one way and invite him to the other. And by that time, we can get the other hand in, and we're probably going to switch hands anyway. Okay, if he goes this way. If he goes this way, we've already got the hand switch. Boom. Okay, we've got the long and the strong, and we're going to throw him that way. Now, the one thing I will say is when we short set versus 5 down, okay, I'll say to that center, short set, but get a little depth. And the reason we get a little depth is we want to level with the guards because here's the deal. If I open my leg this way and I get a twist, okay, nose loop, tackle in, I'm okay. I'll get my depth. Everything's good. If I short set flat or up, God forbid, okay, some people do that. I know Coach McNally talks about jump setting people and all that. But if I jump set like that and get picked, it's hard for me to get that. So we'll say is when you short set, make sure you're flat or even get a little depth. 1, 2. Okay, now, if the guy is a real ball of butcher knives, okay, he's 350 pounds, you might not want to give up too much depth. But giving up too much depth and getting driven back a little bit, okay, and you can mud walk him or hop, whatever you like, or you can just throw him one way or the other, is better than getting picked. Because if you get picked, this guy becomes a looper. And when this guy's 350 pounds, you're going to know his stance. You're going to look at him. You're going to know something's wrong. Okay. But you don't want to get picked. Okay. You definitely don't want to get picked. You don't want to use up, and you know, you can say, well, I'll do this, I'll do that. Nah, it's too late. You're picked. Okay. The guard's got to hang on you and make sure that that penetrator is stopped. And here comes the looper. Uh, So to me, we just talk about getting a little depth against 5 down with both legs. Okay. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward stuff. Okay. To reiterate, short set like you're a right guard. Okay. You got the ball between your legs. Get it up. If you invite him to the outside, easy switch. If he goes to the inside, you already got your hands there. Okay. That's it. That's what I got for you today.